people talk about it is like, it's a game of life. It's a sport, but it's also just the way life works. Like you can hit great shots and be penalized for it. You can make great decisions in life and, you'll catch a bad break. And, it's how you respond and how you bounce back that kind of builds that character.
Hi, I'm Mike Lacey, and we are here with Beyond the Game and with Carson Lundell. If you know anything about links in Utah or golf, even here in the United States, this young man has played at the highest levels. Welcome, Carson Lundell.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I saw your mom had a Facebook post, and she had a newspaper article linked there, and a week ago, you made the preliminaries to go to qualify, to qualify for the U.S. Open. That's rarefied air for those of us who've never thought about being in a tournament. Tell us about, making that preliminary and then what happened this past week.
Yeah. That the kind of the local one is, it's been quite the ride the last couple of years. My first two attempts early on in my college career, I got through. And
now you were one of the top golfers at BYU.
Yeah.
And you made it, by being a top golfer in Utah and at Lone Peak.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I made it my first 2 years, and then I had like 3 straight like heartbreaks, like through the locals, where it was like, I didn't even want to talk about it. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, I lost in a playoff. I was dead center fairway with 50 yards of the green. Terrible wedge shot into the bunker, make bogey, and a par would have gotten through. And then we went on to the next and kind of just had another bad thing. And then, like, the year before, I make double on my last hole to miss it by 1. And just, like, stuff like that. And especially at Alpine, like my home course where I grew up playing, like there's that.
Oh, that's where that happened?
Yeah. And there's just like kind of that added, I wouldn't necessarily say pressure, but expectation. And anyways, it was tough. It played really, really tough. And I was at an afternoon tee time, and it was.
Was it windy?
It was blowing really hard.
How is that fair?
It's just part of the game. It's. A lot of it is such tee time dependent, and it's just the way it goes.
Now, are the other people that are equivalent to you in standing, are they going in the same weather? Or is it random?
It's a pure luck of the draw.
Oh.
And the last couple of years.
So you're not going, let's say you're at the top of the leaderboard and there's 60 people trying to get in this preliminary, your tee time is going to be assigned randomly. Oh,
yeah.
Man.
So the first tee time I think was at 7:30, and the last one I think was around 12:30, and I was at
afternoon.
or 12:20, and I was at 11:50 maybe.
And sometimes the wind here in northern Utah County can get heavy.
Yeah, it comes through AF Canyon and it blows, and I was hoping it was going to be okay. And anyways, it was like my last 10 minutes on the range, it started to come, and I'm like, okay,
here we go.
Here it goes. And it was playing tough. Like Alpine the greens were running super fast. They were firm, really good pin locations. And then we make the turn and just a torrential downpour, like the hardest.
What month of the year was this?
It was just, early May. It was early May.
That's odd.
Like, I walked from 9 to 10, and by the time I got on 10 tee box, it was like probably the hardest rain I've ever played through.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy.
In Utah.
It was crazy. And we get on 10 green, and it already was puddling, and I was like, oh man, they're going to call this. Like, this is insane.
Right.
But I just, I've been practicing more in bad weather to kind of prepare for times like those. And so luckily I kind of just felt this like boost of confidence that was just like, okay, like this is why I've gone out in the pouring rain the last little bit and, you know, kind of try to take advantage of that, where maybe some of the other guys are like pretty uncomfortable because it's not that fun to play in.
No.
And I ended up birdieing 2 of the 3 holes when it was at its worst.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And
so when it's puddling on the green, do you just have to pound your putt or what?
It's just like, I mean, if they don't call it, yeah, it's, or you chip it over the puddle. Like, wow. I mean, yeah, I thought they were going to call it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it kind of let up a little bit, like on, I think when I got to like 12-ish, it was like a little bit letting up. And then by like 14, it was still raining, but not like that downpour.
But you're sloshing through water.
Yeah. And you're sopping wet. I mean, you're just trying to stay dry.
And the guys that started at 7:30,
yeah, they're
already
last,
in a clubhouse. They're at home.
Their last 2 holes maybe caught a little bit of wind.
Okay.
Probably the guys that teed off all before 9:30 had it pretty nice.
Wow.
But yeah, and just was able to make a couple birdies, rolled in a really nice birdie on 16, and anyways, it was actually got another playoff, and I didn't know what I was at, or I didn't know where I stood. And actually I got a really lucky break on 18 and was able to make par and kind of hang around for the last couple groups to come in, and found out I was in a 4 guys for 2 spots playoff. Right
then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're in a playoff, those guys, if one of the guys from 7:30 is in the playoff, he has, wherever he is, he has to come back and hit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they all hung around because I think they were all like before 10 or 9:30.
And you were the one that played in the wet.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
And rain.
Well, it was ugly. But
that's interesting, Carson.
Yeah.
But I mean, talk about adversity.
Yeah. Yeah. It was,
when this is a big goal of yours.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I felt like the last couple of years, I just felt like I was going to make it to the U.S. Open, like not just through locals or sectionals. Like I thought I'd be playing, just felt like I'd be playing in the U.S. Open. And this is the same way I felt this year. And anyways, just to get in that playoff under the circumstances, I was pretty happy. And I knew like, okay, I just played this hole. Like I'm a little bit more fresh, but it's still coming down hard. And anyways, I ended up making par on the first hole, and that was good enough. So
good enough to go on.
Good enough to get through. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It was.
And so when you're starting a playoff, you start at hole number 1.
No. So we actually went back to 18, and we're just going to do 18 as many times as it took.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And 18 was playing super tough, like super, super tough. And
it plays tough for me too.
Yeah. And just the weather, the wind, the rain, the pin, it was like, I knew par would probably
get you there. So again, you had 2 guys were going to make it out of 4.
Out of 4. Yeah.
And you hit a par. So you got to go.
Yep. Par ended up being good enough, which
I was happy about. Was that, I mean, help me with, this was this year, and that's what got you to this tournament in Ohio.
Yep. That was early May. And then, yeah, you get through, and then you kind of just, you have you get like 3 options of where you want to go. And as far as locations for the sectional, the final qualifying. And I chose Columbus, Ohio, because there's a lot of tour guys, because they just finish up the Memorial on Sunday. And so like all the tour guys that aren't in the US Open yet, it's like 15 minutes from the course. And so they'll just stay the extra night and play in that qualifier. So normally,
okay, keep going.
Yeah. So normally they'll have like extra spots. So there'll be more, spots to get through because of the strength of the field. So like we had 15 to 20 tour guys, guys like Ricky Fowler, Max Homa.
But they've already made it, right? They're just playing. Oh, so they're playing to get into the US Open.
Yeah,
What, is that more challenging because they're there?
It can be, but with the more spots, there's not as many guys that will catch lightning in a bottle, opposed to like 2, 3, 4 spots, like, you know, anyone can get hot that day. But I feel like if I played well, it would be good enough regardless of, you know, who was in the field. And with the more spots, there's not going to be 6 guys, if I play well, that are going to, you know, catch that, you know, that fire.
Lightning in the bottle.
Yeah.
All right. So you told me, you know, because you were right there.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, man.
Share with us. I know maybe it's too painful to go over, but
it's sad.
It teaches us.
It's sad. Yeah. So it's one day, 36 holes, right?
All right. Stop there. All right. These professional golfers, we all think of golf as, well, that's not even a sport. You might as well be playing chess, but that's not true, because these guys have to walk, you know, and when you walk from the tips, the blacks or whatever, and if you're walking the whole course from the tee box to the and then to the next tee box, that's a long way. You might do 8 miles or 10 miles.
It's long. It's so it's known for being kind of like the longest day in golf. And like the Golf Channel always does these big,
because you're doing 36 holes in one day.
And almost all of the sectional qualifiers are that day, June 2nd. And so
whether you're in Ohio or Florida or wherever,
or California, Washington, like there's like 8 or 9 of them that happen that day. And it's just kind of like mayhem, because it's like you have all these, you know, anyone can get in. Like,
it's
literally
the open. That's
anybody,
why they call it the open.
Yeah,
right?
anyone can get in. Like, I think there was like a dentist that got in that he doesn't even play. Like, he doesn't play full time, and he got in Washington. And like, you hear these really cool stories about these guys that, like, you know, just go out and have a great day.
Wow.
And next thing you know, they're teeing it up at Oakmont with, you know, the best in the world at the U.S. Open. So it's like, it's considered, you know, and I don't know if they like trademarked it, but it's like, like the longest day in golf, because it's the one day, 36 holes, and you're just walking it. Like, it's pretty taxing.
Who's your? Do you have a caddy?
I don't have. If I can, I like to have my old assistant coach at BYU, Todd Miller, do it, but he had some stuff, and I had a buddy, his name's Scott Pickering, and he was able to fly out. Literally, he was like, it was so clutch of him, because he got in Sunday night at like 1 a.m, and I was asleep.
Whoa.
And trudged the 36 and went home the next day. So it was like super clutch of him to come out and help me with that.
Well, and tell us what we all read about Tiger Woods fired his caddy, or so-and-so, you know, says that his caddy helped him win, or this caddy gave him some great advice on this shot, or, you know, what's your relationship, or what's the average relationship with a caddy on in the professional tour, and then how does that affect you?
That's kind of a loaded question, to be honest. I'm a little bit more picky, because just the way that I am, like, I just have my process, and
so they might get in the way a little bit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
If say the right thing, stand in the wrong place, or whatever.
Exactly. Like, standing in the wrong place is a big deal, and like that can happen.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, you know, your caddy was standing in the wrong place, either messed me up or my playing partner, and then you're like, it takes it a little bit away from it, where it's like, oh,
dang,
you know, where are they at? You know, moving forward.
Right.
But then it's just like, you know, sometimes they try to give too much information, or it's just, it's a hard balance. And I think that's why we see, when guys find someone they like, you see these multiple year kind of relationships with the caddies.
True.
But that's a great question. Caddies, so, it's tough to find someone you click with. And
Pickering was your caddy.
Yeah.
What's his first name?
Scott
Pickering.
Yeah.
So he carries your bag.
Yeah.
Hands you the club.
Mm-hmm.
Does he know the yardage, or, you know, are you allowed to shoot it? Or
yeah. So we can
doing that yourself.
We can use our rangefinders, and he would typically just hand me the rangefinder, and then I'd tell him how far it was, and then, you know, have a short discussion about where the pin's at on the green, and, you know, where the best place is to land it, and to give myself the best chance based on where I'm at in the fairway, the rough. Or
why do we play this game that is so perplexing?
I think Max Homa said it best. He's, I think a month or two or however long ago, he made a comment that was just like, we're all one swing away from retirement, but we're also one swing away from believing we can win the Masters. And it's like, there's never been a truer statement where it's like,
it's true.
Yeah. Where it's like, sometimes you just don't know what's going on. And other times you're like, I don't think I can ever play bad again. Like,
how does golf, what does it teach you, in you're young, but what does it teach you in your young life?
Well, I think golf is, it's a little cliche because it's just the way, people talk about it is like, it's a game of life. It's a sport, but it's also just the way life works. Like you can hit great shots and be penalized for it. You can make great decisions in life and, you'll catch a bad break, and, it's how you respond and how you bounce back. That kind of builds that character, and, vice versa. You can make, some mistakes and end up okay. And it's, I think that's one of the great things about golf and getting into it young was, and it's, hard to learn. And, when you hit a bad shot, it's easy to get upset and easy to get down on yourself and let that affect you moving forward. But I just, it's just the same thing in life. It's like, you make a couple mistakes and it's like, how are you going to bounce back from this? Are you going to learn from it and be better, or are you going to, be down on yourself and let it affect you for the next little bit?
How do you deal with that attitude of, hey, this wasn't fair?
It's hard. It is hard because of the way it is and how the conditions can change from, within a couple hours. It's hard, but everyone at some point has to deal with it, and you can either approach it as, I'm getting, the short end of the stick, or, let's make the most of this opportunity. And it's just, I feel like it's the way you approach it.
How did you do it though? You said, I think you birdied 2 of the 3 or 3 of the 4.
Yeah.
When you had such bad environment or conditions.
Yeah.
How did you do it? Was it mental, or was
it was a lot mental because I had decided earlier this year, like, I'm not just going to practice when it's nice out. I'm going to go practice in the gross conditions, the stuff that you hate to be in, that you would never want to go be in. I decided that I'm going to do that to better prepare myself for when those happens, because they will happen. Like, you're always going to have a day or two or sometime along the year when you're playing in conditions you don't want to be in. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence, and it did. I remember being in the fairway on 10 when it's just an absolute downpour, and I'm like everyone else is in trouble because I've put in the time in these conditions, and like I've done the work, and gave me this boost of confidence. And yeah, rolled in a couple nice putts on 11 and 12, and ones that were really tough birdies at the time, and was able to kind of, and then get one on 16 too, which was great. But it was just that kind of mentality and the approach of. And yeah, I've been playing it so long and been in so many tournaments that I have had times where the weather will come and I'm just like, oh, this sucks. Like, gosh, like, get me out of here. Let's just get through this.
Go home.
Yeah. And I've had that, like everyone has. And I just think that the approach changed when I'd put in the work in those conditions to where it was like, okay,
I'm ready for this.
Yeah. Like let's not just get home now. Let's attack.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, you were a top golfer at BYU. And, what a legacy BYU has in golf, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned Todd Miller, but the Miller name and all the crazy good golfers that have gone through, including Carson Lundell. How was it golfing for BYU? What were your best experiences?
Golfing at BYU, I tell everyone, is like, it is the greatest thing I honestly think that anybody could do, like, ever.
Really? No, I was going to say football, brother.
I don't know. Like, I'm sure football is great, but all my buddies that played football at BYU wish they were on the golf team.
And I'm teasing.
Yeah.
I know, I do too.
Yeah. There's just something about it. BYU's just different. It's a different place. And the golf team's just different. Like there's this culture in the golf team that's just like a family. And it's like from the alumni to, all the coaches to the administration, the different faculty, like everybody just loves BYU golf. And it's like, it was always one of my dreams to play there. And when it happened, I was excited, but I didn't fully understand what it was going to be like. But it really is just set up from, the coaches and the administration. Like the coaches, Bruce and Todd, are just like the best people in the world. And, they want you to play good golf, but they want you to be happy in life. And I think that's just so different where it's like
so it's not only golf. I mean, they're concerned about you as an individual.
100%. And they just like have so much belief and love for you. And it's like indescribable how amazing it is. But the people that have played there understand it. And it's like just this big family and just everybody you're able to meet. I just look at my time there and I'm just like, wow, like I can't imagine like going anywhere else and not experiencing that.
And you had some good championships there, right?
Yeah. We had a couple really good teams, and I had a couple good years individually. But I think that's just the fun part about being on the team is like it's cool, to go win, to have good finishes, to play on TV and whatnot. But it's like, the time and the experiences and that you have with the team is like what you remember.
Even more, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Well, then you didn't play. I think you were done before we went into the Big 12. Is that right?
Unfortunately, yeah, I missed by 1 year.
Oh, man.
I know. It was super sad.
Because think about that. I mean, there's some competitive teams. And I'm sure you played against those teams.
Yeah.
But not on the regular schedule.
No, golf's a little bit different where you don't have like a conference schedule.
Okay.
So you kind of pick and choose different tournaments. The biggest hurdle with BYU was the Sunday play. It's kind of funny going back to this about the whole fair stuff because this is one of those instances where I have a little bit different opinion. Only at one location. So my freshman year, we made it. We played in Arkansas, and so you go play your practice on Wednesday, and the girls' championship is Wednesday morning, and so you tee off like 5 holes behind them, and anyways, we actually ended up catching them. And,
really?
Yeah, and so they were like
they're finishing, and they're kind of
they've got the championship match, and they were on 16 or 15, and we had caught them, and like the Golf Channel came over, and they're like, "Hey, like you guys got to stop,
slow down."
Yeah. So, anyways,
oh man,
but
so you're on a roll.
Well, that was just the practice round.
Okay,
yeah, so that wasn't a big deal, but then the next day, everybody goes out, plays their practice round, and then they go out, they cut and roll the greens, change the pins, and we go out around 3 to 3:30.
Ooh,
which is
in Arkansas.
In Arkansas,
huh.
Which it was tough, and the course was brutal, but it wasn't like it was actually one of the coolest experiences for me because you're at this amazing golf course, absolutely spectacular golf course, and it's like.
But the greens weren't tamped down because everybody had played that.
Well, but they went out and cut and rolled them.
Okay,
yeah.
All right.
But it's like you got all 5 of your teammates one by one, like every hole, and you're just playing. Like it was like I remember by yourself, and I just remember like being on what was it 10 or 11, 9, 10 or 11, and just I could see almost all my teammates, and I'm like, wow, this is actually really cool. Like
interesting.
Yeah,
and it's kind of twilight or afternoon, late afternoon.
Yeah, and
there's something beautiful about golf.
Yeah,
in the late evening.
There is. Yeah, it was Arkansas.
It's a peacefulness that just hits you.
Yeah, and it was one of those moments for me.
Really,
it was really cool. We didn't play great that year, but anyways, a couple years later, we got to national championship again. I played in 3 of them, and this time we're in Scottsdale. And so we go out, do our practice round, prep. Everyone goes out the next day, Thursday, for their practice round. And Arizona's different. because the morning to the afternoon changes drastically. And so our first tee time is 3:00, and they go out and cut and roll the greens. And
this is again your Thursday.
This is our Sunday round.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Right.
So same thing, solos. And we get out there, and they hadn't cut or rolled the practice green, but they went out and did it to the course.
Oh no.
And
so now you're kind of adjusted to a slow pace.
Yeah. And
on the putts.
Within our first, I think it was 3 holes, we had 4 3-putts and 2 4-putts.
As a team.
And they were just lightning fast. And then you're playing it, and it's 105, 110.
Even faster.
And it's like, and then you add to that, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, 3:30 is when I teed off. I mean, the greens were just absolutely baked. It was rock hard. It's desert. You don't have any spotters. So if you hit a ball offline,
you have to go find it.
Yeah. Like you don't have any. And after that first year, I was like, oh man, that was tough. Like, but oh well, like we just didn't play good. We go back the next year, same thing happens. And I was like, okay, this is really tough. And because outside of that, I think the last tee time is like 1:30 for like the regular play, and we get 3:30. And it's like,
so on Sunday, the latest start is at 1:30, but you're going out at 3:30 on Thursday.
Yeah. And so we've got 2 afternoon tee times.
Wow.
2 of our 3 rounds are afternoon tee times. And some guys are
teeing off.
Which in
Arizona is kind of hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
And you've got some guys that are teeing off at 6:40 in the morning.
Perfect.
And they're still dew out there. And so they're spinning the ball. It's soft. And, however many hours, 7, 8, 9 hours later, it's completely different golf course.
Under the sun, right.
Yeah. And like I played solid my senior year, that round. And I had 9 pars and 9 bogeys.
Oh, man.
And like I felt like I played okay.
Yeah.
And it was just a bummer. It was really tough.
To the next day. How did you do on the first official day?
So that doesn't go in until Sunday, right?
Right. So on Friday.
So Friday, Saturday, our team was in like 7th or 8th, and I was in like 16th individually.
Wow.
And the top 15 move on to the final day, Monday. And our Sunday round goes in, and we dropped to 24th, and I dropped to like 100.
Oh.
So it was, my mind, so it changed a little bit there.
I can understand that.
It changed there where I was like, okay, that was different. But that was the last year at Greyhawk in Scottsdale. And now they're in, what is it? Is it La Costa or in San Diego? Where it's
the
way
weather
better.
is so much.
Yeah, it's going to max out at 75, and the team played great this year.
So just curious, lack of understanding, but when you're in the Big 12, does you still have freedom to go to all the different matches, or do you have some conference play too?
So you always have your one conference play, like with your whole conference, but the Big 12, they've got 2 of them, which is cool. They got one in the fall and the spring. One's a match play event that I really wish I could have played in.
Oh man.
And then the conference championship, which they have them at like the coolest courses ever.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I was super sad that I missed it by a year.
Well, Carson, you have so much potential, so much capacity. What are what's your biggest goal? How are you going to get there to that next level? Because when you were describing, this was before we went on, but it sounded like you hit a really good shot and it just lipped into the bunker. And now you're at the top of the bunker, and you could only go out sideways. So the most you could do was a bogey on that hole. And you were right there in contention. So, I mean, golf is a game of inches.
Yeah.
And, the best golfers on tour and the lowest guys on the tour, I mean, what divides them is pretty small, right?
Incredibly small.
How do you get into that rarefied air?
A lot of it is timing and a little bit of luck, because there's so many good players, and it's like if you can get hot at the right time, then you kind of set yourself up. And but it's hard because it's like those opportunities don't come often. You have Q School once a year where you've got to play great, like and that's like your real one chance like of getting status.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, you just have to wait another year. So it's tough. It's really hard. And obviously you have that pressure that that, and it's like, Q school is everything.
Now, you told me, though, that you chose that. Was it in Ohio where you went and saw Tony?
Yeah. Yes. That was.
Tell that story, because you have the next day, you have this, you have 36 holes to play. You got to walk, I don't know, 15 miles at least, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It was quite the blunder.
So what happened? Tony Finau's playing, and what happened?
Yeah. So, I don't know if we talked about
we didn't on the tape, so that's why I want to.
Okay,
they were playing another tournament at the same time.
So they've got the Memorial, which is one of the bigger tour events of the year. So like most of the top guys in the world are playing.
Okay,
and the guys, so only the top 50 I think it's the top 50 in the world are exempt for the U.S. Open, and so there's a lot of guys at that Memorial event that aren't qualified for the U.S.
Haven't qualified yet, so they're not invited yet.
So they have to do qualifying as well. And so there were a lot of those guys that were in my field in Ohio. And I know Tony, and have a good relationship with him, and wanted to go out and watch him after my practice round on Sunday. And so I'm going, and there's like, all these signs of where to park and whatnot. And they have us park at the zoo. And I like pulled in. I'm like, hey, they've got to have a shuttle. Like, this is, because I had it on my maps. I'm like, we're 4 miles away. Like, they for sure, like, this is insane. And I just see all these people walking, and I'm like, oh no, like they're going towards the bridge. This is not good. Anyway, so I ended up walking it. It literally took me like an hour and a half. And then when I got there, Tony was as far away as you could go on the course. And there's so many people in different ropes. And it was like, I kept figuring out. And I just
try to get to it.
It was like every route I took, like in the fork in the road, I chose the wrong one where I had to go longer. And I'd like look back and be like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And anyways, I ended up catching Tony on like 12 or something, and was able to, follow him in. And it was really cool. That course is amazing. And, was able to see Scheffler hit a couple shots, and, it was cool. And on the way back, I was like, okay, they have to have shuttles. Like, this is crazy. There's no way I'm walking back. And there was nothing. Anyways, I went the whole way again. And sure enough, I get to my car and I see one of those buses pulling. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like, and I've got 36 tomorrow that I've got to walk. Like, and yeah, it was brutal. So it was, I woke up a little sore.
I remember in my day of playing football, to me, being a quarterback, being a 3-point basketball shooter, or being a target shooter from golf, there's some of us would say, no, he's really lucky. But you've got touch, you've got practice, you have confidence that comes from all that practice. Yeah. And so you can dial in your range of error, whereas mine is still out here. Mm-hmm. And so you can have a level of confidence. This Q school, the range of confidence when you're hitting that ball, what gets in your way? Because I was going to ask you about you at Lone Peak and in the state of Utah had one of the best scores for an amateur. You did really well, and you were consistently doing well. In my day in football and in basketball, they weren't really too excited with these technical guys like the shooters or quarterbacks to go on missions, because you lose 2 years of timing. It's different. You did go on a mission, and I'm very proud of you for doing that. But, there's some sacrifice there. Mm-hmm. How did that affect you? When you came back from your mission, how long did it take for you to get your touch back?
That's a good question. I got home, and it was really cool.
And where did you go?
So I went to Tucson, Arizona, and
no golf there.
Yeah. Luckily, I had one of my areas. I think it was the ward mission leader was the high school coach.
Oh wow!
So one of my areas I played like 4 or 5 times, which
on P-Day or whatever.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It was awesome. But so I got home and I just planned on redshirting. Like I just
at BYU.
Yeah. And I got back and somehow played good, and
coach wouldn't let you redshirt.
They wanted me. I don't know. Like, I guess we had a conversation. And he said, I think you could help us this year. I'm like, Coach, I'm awful. Like, we just went to Africa with the team on this foreign trip, and I was horrible. And like, some of the boosters were like, oh man, like, this guy's bad. And I'm like, well, I've only been home for a week. Like, anyways, just had nothing. And
I still have this tan, you know, or I don't know.
Yeah, I have all my baby fat, like, from all the, the food and but, I got back and qualified, and they were like, yeah, we want to take you, and came back, and I took 6th my first event home, and then I took 2nd my next one, had a chance to win.
So you jumped right back in.
Yeah, and then I almost won in Alabama the following week, and they were like, and I think I was ranked like 35th in the country after 3 events.
In the NCAA.
Yeah, and I'd only been home for 3 months.
Wow.
But I didn't feel... I don't know. I mean, that was a long time ago, and I just somehow picked it up. But I wasn't a good chipper, and I was a very good chipper in high school, and that didn't feel like it really came back. And same with like my putting, with my just kind of feel for distances and speed control. That didn't feel like it really came back until about a year later.
That's the touch, right?
Yeah,
That's the touch.
Just being able to have that feel and.
Well, it takes just tons of practice, right?
Yeah, to get
and
comfortable
so
with that.
That was a strength of your game, if not the strength.
Oh yeah,
and then you felt like it wasn't there yet.
Yeah, and I remember Coach Miller, after we played Pepperdine's event. It was the first event of the spring, and like, I played really good, but my chipping was like out of this world bad. And I remember him being like, oh man, like, dude, this is as bad as I've seen. Like, he kind of just gave it to me. He's like, yeah, you got to work on this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I have nothing. Like, I just want to get it within 20 feet. But
and when you're such a great, well, I don't know, do you pay attention to BYU's basketball or football teams?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, think of Yegor Deming.
Yeah.
I talked to Coach Burgess the other day, and he was talking about Yegor and how great of a shooter he is, but he just kind of fell into a slump in the middle part of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine being a 3-point shooter? And if you're taking that shot and you don't have supreme confidence, like, hey, this is going in, it's probably not going to go in.
It's not a good place to be.
I know. So
it's not a good place to be.
How does that, I mean, you have to put in the practice, but you also have to have the confidence.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Same thing, right?
Exact same thing.
Carson Lundell, I have kept you a long time. We were neighbors when my wife and I and our family lived in Alpine, and so proud of you and Stockton. Love your parents. They own the 24-hour fitness.
Anytime
Fitness, yeah. Right? Sorry. Anytime Fitness in Highland. Best people in the world, Chris and Susie. What would you like to share with Cougar Nation about golf, life, your experiences, the future? What gives you hope?
You just got to believe, like, it just all comes down to your approach, like, how are you going to, whatever it is in life, like, the way you approach things is everything. And it's like, you're going to go in with the belief that you can do what you want to do, or you're going to
lack confidence.
You're going to let the doubt kind of, creep in and let that control you, or you're going to, have the faith and belief that, you can do what you want to do and everything will work out. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing for me. And, what I still try to work on, because everyone has that imposter syndrome where, you want to, doubt or compare. And
I don't belong here.
Yeah, and it happens to everybody. I just read something the other day where Steph Curry, was talking about it. And it's like, if Steph Curry has it, like, everyone deals with it. But, just to really try to keep that approach of confidence and belief in yourself and, everything you're doing in every aspect of your life, I think, kind of go a long way.
That's wise and applies to all of our lives.
It does.
Carson Lundell, congratulations. Best of luck in the future. You and Tony Finau, go get them.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carson. Thank you for watching another episode of Beyond the Game. Remember to click here to subscribe and click here to watch our recent videos. Also, please follow us on social media. And remember, go Cougs.